prohibited. Please show great fan sportsmanship, cheer for your team, not against the visitors. Don't get personal in your comments about players, coaches, or officials. No profanity, vulgarity, racist, or sexist comments, please. We'll have the introduction of the starting lineups and the Star Spangled Banner coming up.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is Keith Whitman here with Bret at Mike Carter Field. How you doing, buddy?
I feel like we've been here before.
I think we have a couple of times. And we have regional final action here between the Harleton Wildcats and the Douglas Indians. We have a good baseball game here, Bret, going on.
Got the Northeast Texas versus kind of a Southeast Texas feel.
Right.
Kind of meeting in the middle here in Tyler tonight. And Harleton may be one of the most, I guess, unknown, very good teams here in East Texas, Keith.
You know, and unknown is right for some reason, and I haven't heard until this week that they're as good as they are, and nothing against Douglas. They're a very good baseball team as well, and that's the reason both of them are here. But yes, Harleton has only lost one game this entire season.
And it was last week?
So, yeah, we got the starting lineups going on right now as we speak.
I want to talk about Harleton's pitching, Keith.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Man, you look at this staff, and, of course, you only lose one game. You're going to have some pretty good stats.
Right.
We got starting tonight is Mr. Carson Wallace on the mound. Keith, he is 11-0 on the year with a 0.21 ERA.
Goodness gracious.
127 strikeouts with only 35 walks in 66 innings pitched.
Mm-hmm.
If you're, and we'll get to my keys, but man, if you're Douglas looking at those stats, you're like, man, how do we hit this guy?
Right. And you know, I look at how Harleton's looking at this game, putting their ace pitcher on the mound on the first game. Usually
they want to get ahead.
Right. Usually you don't see that. Usually you see teams in the playoffs saving their ace for second in order to see where they start in the first, you know, in the first game, or where that's going to be. And Harleton's just coming out guns a-blazing in this one.
Yeah, they are. And you know, you get to this point in the season and getting off to that 1-0 start, you don't want to be tomorrow coming out here and trying to win 2 in the heat of the afternoon, because tomorrow starts at 5 o'clock start.
Right.
And we'll have both games. If there is a game 3, it'll be just right after that one. So
yeah, there is no Saturday game. It's back to back tomorrow if needed.
Well, they probably want to give whoever makes it to Austin after this.
Yes.
You want to give them as much rest as possible. I don't know the schedule for them next week, but I imagine it may be an early week.
Right.
And they don't want to play that Saturday. It's one extra day's rest.
Because next stop is Round Rock, right?
Correct. You're going down to Austin to the state tournament. You're one of the top 4 teams right now, the top 8.
And so right now we're going to go to the field for the national anthem. We'll be right back. And we're about to get started here. We got a good crowd. We got one coming from right above the Longview Marshall area, and one coming from around the Nacogdoches area. So good crowds, good travel.
Yeah,
from both teams.
Yeah, pretty evenly drive for both teams, Keith. It's about the same amount of time.
So, Brett, before we get started, sorry I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. Go for it.
Keys to the game, go ahead.
Okay, so we just talked about how dominant Carson Wallace is, and so I think if you're Douglas here, you want to try to not let him get in a rhythm early. So you want to get on base, whether that's get on base with walks, hits, be patient, make him work. You don't want to make it any easier for him. And the southpaw here, Wallace, you don't want to let him get off to a good start. So I think that's key for Douglas looking at this. Your Harleton, you've been dominant all season. We looked at of course, they had the one game they dropped last round to Garrison, but previously hadn't lost a game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they know how to win.
Right.
So they probably won different ways this year, but I think it's key for Douglas to kind of dent into Wallace. My second key to this game is big plays. When you get in this round, we've talked about it numerous times, you want to have those big plays, whether it be, a stolen base here, taking advantage of a gapper where you can get that extra base, those kind of big things. And then third key is pretty much a standard one, Keith. We talk about every series in the playoffs is mistakes, mental mistakes, and errors.
Right.
Those things can swing a game, and just like that, we saw it. I talked about it last series.
I was going to say that last week with Maypearl and Central Heights.
Yeah.
We had an almost flawless game until the very end, and a very just minute little mistake ended the game, and it really wasn't that big a one, but it ended the game. So, hey guys, we are about to start as Douglas is going to start off batting. Drew Bobo, number 4, is going to step in. He's actually the pitcher. He's going to lead off, and the first pitch is going to be high and outside for ball 1, and this regional final game here in East Texas is now underway. And pitch number 2 is in, and it's going to be high and outside again for ball 2. So 2-0 to Bobo.
And if you're listening to us on the radio, the uniforms
I was going to mention
for
that.
Douglas is they're sharp.
Yeah, that's a good pitch on the outside corner. He's been looking for that one, I believe. Wallace tried 3 pitches, and that one finally caught where it wanted to go. So it's going to be 2 balls and 1 strike to Drew Bobo there, and a swing and a miss. So 2-2 now. And I know we've been talking about Carson Wallace, but I've heard good things about Drew Bobo, the pitcher for the Indians on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, multi-sport athlete. We covered them also in basketball. So
that one was high and outside. Sorry.
And there's got a brother. So you got a couple of sets of brothers here on this. And you see that a lot in the smaller schools when you have sets of brothers and sisters on teams.
You got 2 sets here. You got Drew and Jace Bobo.
And rung him up, Keith.
Strike 3.
Bobo was halfway to first base.
And I believe that was going to be another high and outside, but the umpire said that caught the outside corner.
And I like this umpire already, too.
Yeah.
He emphasized that one. He made sure he knew that it was a strikeout.
And Drew, like you said, he was already skipping down the line, getting to first base. Yeah. Now Riley Kaufman's going to step in. That one's on the outside corner as well, and we got a lively crowd here.
Oh, yeah, the whole town's shut down, Keith, for this.
This is one of those old school, you put a closed sign on the business. There's a swing and a miss. That was dropped off the table there by Wallace. And that's going to be 0-2 now to Kaufman.
Looking for another strikeout here early.
And another swing and a miss. It's going to be a drop ball, so he's got to throw it to first. But Clark does a good job of keeping the ball in front of him. And now 2 up and 2 down.
Well, I see why Wallace has 127 strikeouts, or make that 129 strikeouts in the season.
He's got a little breaking ball that kind of just falls there. So now Peyton Bragg is stepping up, so he can see if he can do something. That one's going to be way out, high and off the glove of Mason Clark. And ball 1. So Wallace having a good start so far here in the top of the first. As the windup, and here comes the pitch. That's a good pitch on the outside corner.
Ooh.
And actually
gave it to him.
Yeah, he really gave it to him. Mason Clark does a good job of framing it. That was about in the middle of the left-handed batter's box.
I was gonna say, you had a good view of that one.
Yeah, that was not a strike. Here comes another one. Swing on and miss. Good cut by Bragg, but just couldn't get around on it fast enough. And Wallace is keeping the ball over on the other batter's box.
They're having to chase it.
Yeah.
And a strike out the side, Keith. Wow.
So 3 up, 3 down, 3 strikeouts, and down go the Indians here in the top of the first. So
Keith, you've done a lot of baseball this season.
I have, yes.
Have you seen a strike out the side yet?
No, not yet. That's
you
the
just
first
did.
strike out the side that I have seen.
Man, what a
the
start.
Harleton hopefuls on the right side of us are very, very happy with that first top. So
I don't see how you could not be.
Yeah.
That's about as good a start as you can get. Your fielders are going to get bored if
Right.
you do too many of that.
But a good job by Wallace. So we're going to see what the other side can do as Drew Bobo is warming up on the mound for the Indians. We're going to take a short.
We'll take a break.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it when
We're
we
going to take
come
a short break. Our sponsor for this regional final action is Azalea Orthopedics. Don't go anywhere.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
And Bret and I are back here at Mike Carter Field for the bottom of the first. Bret, you were going to say something right before we went to break?
Well, I just was going to say this. I feel kind of similar to the last series we did. We had a west to west combo, pitcher to first base. We have the same deal. We have Drew Bobo at pitching and Jace Bobo at first.
Right.
So I don't know what it is about the family combo, but I know it worked out well last series.
And it probably will work out well for this one.
Because how many times have they thrown back and forth? But you probably imagine all their lines.
Little League, high school here, right on up. Dylan Armstrong for Harleton is stepping into the batter's box again with the little hoodie action. We still haven't figured out that one.
It must be a trend.
It is a trend. And here comes the pitch by Drew. That's going to be fouled off out of play for strike one. And a lot of noisemakers over here.
We got a drum section over there.
We got a drum section, buckets and drumsticks over here.
Wow.
There's the pitch on the outside, but ball. And Bret, you and I are the only ones here today. Usually we have a crew with us. Rob, our cameraman, is not with us today. And intern Claire couldn't make it here. She's on a band trip.
What a pair of slackers.
I know, right? They just couldn't do it. There's a swing and a miss. And a good cut. That one actually, we saw a good breaking ball by Wallace. An equally as good breaking ball by Drew Bobo on the Indian side, as that one fell off the table as well.
We may end up having a little pitching duel here.
So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Armstrong as he steps in. And here's the windup and the pitch. That's going to hit the outside corner, but no, says the umpire. And we're going to have 2 balls and 2 strikes. That looked like it hit the corner to me.
Yeah, Drew Bobo, he's trying to go for that same spot that Wallace was trying for a while ago.
Here's the windup from Bobo and the pitch. That's a good hit to Kaufman. Kaufman grabs it over to Jace Bobo. A good stretch.
What a stretch,
and
Keith.
in time
for
the out, the good 6-3.
That hurt.
That did hurt. He did the splits on that one.
And he needed every inch because Armstrong was moving down the line.
Speed. And so the 6-3 put out for out number 1 brings Gage Schertz to the plate with 1 out and nobody on.
Man, great job there. I love the defense when they can come by and back their pitcher up like that.
And here's the windup and the pitch. That's going to be hit and fouled. And it kind of went straight down. I believe it hit off the home plate.
Yeah,
so Schertz is going to come back.
Couldn't quite hold off that swing there.
Got some orange shoes there.
Yeah, it's you can tell which one he is.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
maybe his parents bought him those so they could know which one he was on the field.
Man,
Because is this another series? We got lots of more blonde-haired guy going.
Right, as of last week, every single player last week for Central Heights and Maypearl had blonde hair. Here's the pitch. That was a good little breaking ball, but Shirt's got a hold
It's
of it.
going to be a
Here's
tough
the throw
play.
by Kaufman. Not in time. That was hard.
Yeah.
As he picked it up right in front of, well, what would normally be the outfield grass.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if MLB guy could have made that throw. I mean, that would have been
But
tough.
Kaufman does a good job of breaking on the ball and trying to get it across field, and just couldn't do it there. So there is a runner on first.
And they are playing very deep, Keith. The shortstop and second baseman both are at that line there, at the edge of the infield, outfield area. So
we have time, as I believe first base coach for Harleton was talking to Shirts over there. Now we're ready. So 1 out, 1 on. And Carson Wallace, the pitcher, is stepping up against Drew Bobo, the pitcher. Throw over to first, not in time. Trying to get Gage Shirts back over there. So Drew takes a look. As Wallace kind of steps in. And Bret, I'm going to talk about something after this pitch. Is throw back over to first and Shirts back in time. I've noticed something about Harleton helmets that I've never seen in baseball. You know how football players
the stickers.
get the stickers
Yeah.
on their helmets? Well, it looks like Harleton Wildcats put stickers on their helmets as well. And I've never seen that, and that's kind of a cool little concept.
I like that.
I like that as well. So that's kind of neat. Bobo looks in and checks first, but brings this one home. That's a good little fastball. It's going to get fouled off to the left side net and kind of travel down the left field line. And that'll be strike one. But I have never seen that. That's kind of neat. This, the on deck, Mason Clark is on deck. He's got a little pyramid.
When you win 33 games, you should have a lot of stickers.
Right.
And they do. A lot of them have a lot of stickers.
Yep. So 0-1 the count. Shirts still on first. Bobo checks him. Here's the pitch. There's the runner goes. And Carnes with the throw. Not a little offline there. It was in time, I will tell you that, as Colton Carnes came out of the crouch really like a rocket and chunked that one, but it was offline, and Shirts steals.
Shirts was fast there, too.
Yeah, he did. But I think it would have been a very close call indeed. But nonetheless, runner in scoring position now for the Wildcats.
He's taking a pretty good lead up second, too.
And I'm not sure if I'm not sure about that. Bobo kind of slips off home, but it doesn't matter as Wallace pops that one over to third base. Peyton Bragg just takes about 4 steps to the right and catches that one for out number 2.
Yeah, he looked over at Shirts, and Shirts jetted back over to second there. He's like, no, you're not doubling me up. So it's a good job by Shirts to kind of hold off and not
and
run.
Unfortunately, it was really, really fast, and the shortstop nor the second baseman, Standridge or Kaufman, were on the base yet. Mason Clark is now ready, and that's going to be hit by pitch. However, well, I guess they're going to let him go. He didn't really move out of the way.
He kind of did he lean his head in?
Bent into it a little bit. Bended is not a word, by the way.
I mean, I don't know. It looked like he made more effort to go towards the ball than away from it.
He bent like he was trying to duck. It was a good, I'm going to call it a LeBron flop. But either way, he got on base.
He sold it, Keith, so
it works. I'm not going to knock him for it because he's on base, and I'd have done it too.
In basketball, we have the Sweeney School of Flops. I don't know what we call that.
Yeah. Well, it may be the Clark school of getting hit by a pitch. It doesn't have the ring to it, but it works. He's on first. And now Booth is up to the plate.
Well, it's not as fun because I don't have Corey here to give a hard time about that because he loves the Sweeney School of Flops, especially in all-star games, Keith.
Sean Booth is 1 ball and no strikes at the plate. 2 on and 2 out. That's going to be way outside, but a good job by Carnes to stop it from going to the backstop.
Man, Shirts is taking a huge lead over there, Keith.
Yeah, he's kind of daring Bobo to throw it.
we'll see how long that cat and mouse game's played over there. But
yeah,
I mean,
I don't know how long that. Yeah, I don't know how long you can keep that going.
Second baseman's kind of.
Well, Standridge is kind of, and Kaufman both are kind of changing it around. So yeah.
Yeah, there he goes. Looks over at him.
As Bobo kind of turns around and makes sure that Schertz knows he can still get him.
But one thing that does is it makes the pitcher focus on you, and hopefully it distracts the batter.
Right.
From paying attention to the batter.
Here's the pitch right down the middle for a strike. Good pitch by Bobo.
It's one of those
he put a little heat on that one.
It's one of those mind game things.
Oh yeah. Well, it's all a mind game. 2-1 the count for Sean Booth as he awaits the pitch. Drew looking over at second. Nobody there, and brings it home. Good pitch on the outside, no. And that one is a no call, so it's going to be 3 balls and 1 strike.
This is a big pitch here for if you're Bobo, because you don't want to load the bases right here this early in the game.
Well, you have 2 outs. Focus right now on the home plate. You don't need to worry about Schertz over at second. He can do this. Here's a pitch. It's going to be outside corner as well. No, says the umpire. And so some of the same pitches that were getting called on the top of the first are not getting called for the bottom of the first. So that'll load the bases. And we got ourselves a bases loaded with 2 out situation. And Braden Hopkins is going to head up. He's a lefty.
So
this lefty here could be an issue, although, nope, the right fielder is moving more inward, not towards the line where he was just a second ago.
But just need it out in any bag, so.
Well, and right now, like I said just a minute ago, Bobo needs to focus mainly on the batter.
Yeah.
His catcher's good, stopping things. That one's going to be inside. Carnes does a good job of slowing that down. It does get past him, but not as far back as it could have. And that's going to be ball 1.
Yeah, that's at least he got a piece of it there and was able to keep it in the side, the dirt turf, I guess you'd say, area.
The dirt turf. Well, one thing we don't need, that Drew doesn't need to do right now, is get into his head and get the yips a little bit here in the bottom of the first. Got a long game ahead. He's a good pitcher. That's going to be hit high and over to third base side, but Bragg is there to get out number 3, and a good job by allowing the field behind him to get that 3rd out.
And that was 2 different half innings, Keith, but the same result. It's still 0-0.
Right, and 3 runners were left on, and that's a good thing, to let happen, and a bad thing for Harleton if it continues throughout the game, if it's going to go. But a kind of a tough start for Drew Bobo. And maybe
but he got through it. So if we've seen this several times this year, Keith, where pitcher gets off to a tough start, they kind of settle in and they get better as the game goes. So, if you're Douglas, you're hoping that he settles in now, kind of gets in the groove. Okay, I'm in the series now.
And we've seen quite a few pitchers that have done that, where the first inning they get a little bit hit happy and they maybe get not rocked, because Bobo didn't get rocked by any means, but
and his team behind him helped him.
Right,
so
then they come back out, they get settled down, they calm down, they breathe a little bit, and then they come back and with a vengeance and show exactly the type of pitcher that they are. And that's what I expect to happen with Drew Bobo coming up in the next few innings. But now we got to see what the Indians can do, because in the top of the first, they did not do a very good showing.
They've got to do something against Carson Wallace here, Keith.
Right, because Gavin Robinson's going to come up. He is, the leadoff batter and the number 4 spot hitter. So he's supposed to be the one that can knock it. Let's see if he can do it.
Well,
Gavin Robinson is going to step in.
Should be a good battle here.
Yeah. Here's the windup in the pitch from Wallace. That's straight down the middle. I don't know what he was waiting on, but a beautiful pitch by Wallace goes over for strike 1. And here's the windup again from Wallace. Quick pitch action. That's going to be a little low. And 1-1 is now the count. And here we go again. There's a pitch. It's going to be fouled off, and I think it hit the umpire.
It hit somebody. It was kind of weird. It was a weird deflection.
Right. Hit the umpire or the catcher in the helmet. It missed a glove. That's all I know. So we have now a 1-2 count for Robinson. And here's the windup with the pitch from Wallace. It's going to be a little high, about neck high for ball number 2. Good job to hold the swings here. That we saw a lot of that in the first inning where they were just swinging at whatever they could. Ooh. And there's a swing and a strikeout, and the strikeouts continue. That's 4 straight strikeouts by Carson Wallace here. And Jace Bobo is going to step in and see what he can do against this pitcher for the Wildcats.
Yeah, he's looking to try to help his brother out, get something going here on the.
Well, still no base runner for the Indians.
Yeah.
Because they've all struck out,
There's
unfortunately.
One thing I know, Keith, you can't score if you don't get on base.
Right. And we know they can hit. I mean, you don't make it this far with not being able to hit. So the Indians can hit. We know that. That's high for a ball. And so Wallace steps in on the rubber, and Bobo steps up to the plate. Here's the windup with the pitch. That's a good pitch on the inside, but no strike calls the umpire, and that's going to be 2-0.
Well, and Douglas swept its first 3 rounds of the playoffs. They scored 9, 10, 3, 5, 9, 4.
Well, and you also got to understand, and you do, but those listening and watching, that's going to be high and outside for that pitch. So Jace Bobo finds himself ahead in the count, and it's a good batter's count right here. Anything close, he needs to time it out and hit it. But this is a very nerve-wracking situation here. You're in the regional final. Your next step is Round Rock, which is a big situation here.
That's one of teams' goals probably when they start the season.
Right.
You know, that's where you want to get to.
And so here's the pitch by Wallace, and a swing on and miss, so a full count. So Jace Bobo goes from 3-0 to 3-2. It is a big pitch here by Wallace. And does he continue? No, not on that pitch. It's fouled back to the net, and the count remains full. But you got to think Douglas is a little bit, even though we are this deep in the playoffs, it's still nerve-wracking every time.
Oh, yeah.
So it's something they have to, calm down.
Ooh.
Swung on and missed, and it's a dropped pitch. Good job by the catcher, Mason Clark, to pick up. And once again, that's 5 straight strikeouts. And Luke Niver is going to step in.
Man.
Number 2.
So impressive.
He's the left fielder. And Niver is going to see if he can stop this strikeout frenzy. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be swung on and missed.
Man, he's got a dartboard right down the middle of the plate, Keith, and he's hitting it just about every time. Not anything really fancy, just throwing strikes. That was a curve.
That was a good curveball right over the plate for strike 2. And I think a lot of this is a little bit of mind game on Douglas right now. They need to get out of their heads thinking that this kid's going to strike them out. They know how to play the game. Here's a pitch. That's swung on and missed, strike 3. So once again, the top 2 innings for Douglas, and Carson Wallace strikes out the side both times. And Douglas is going to go out with no runners and nothing to show for it.
See, Harleton needs a strikeout sponsor, because that sponsor would be getting their money's worth tonight.
Yes, they would. We would be using that sponsor's name a whole lot. And our sponsor for this game is Azalea Orthopedics. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
Mike Carter Field. Tanner Tate for the Wildcats is going to step in and meet Drew Bobo for the bottom of the second. Still no score, as Carson Wallace has struck out the side at the top of each inning. Drew Bobo did a good job of getting out of trouble as he left 3 runners on base with the bases loaded last inning. Here's the pitch by Bobo. Good pitch. Going to be high. Fly ball behind the plate. And
headache.
Carnes
goes
back, but that's back in the stands. And a gentleman, I believe, didn't want to drop his hot dog to catch that one. I wouldn't either, young man. I wouldn't either. So here we go. It's no balls and 1 strike after that foul ball goes back. And Tanner Tate waits. Here's the windup in the pitch. That's going to be inside and a hit by pitch. But no, says the umpire. Because once again, didn't that hit him?
I thought it hit his leg, Keith.
Yeah, but he didn't move. And the umpire, I think, just said, no, we're not going to let you do that one.
It's like he could have gotten out of the way pretty easily on that one.
Well, he kind of dipped into it.
It's like
he must have been doing the Mason Clark school of dipping into the – but it didn't work. It worked for Mason Clark. He did that one beautifully, but I don't believe Tanner Tate needs to work a little bit more and watch the tapes for it.
Yeah.
Bobo looks in. Here's the windup and the pitch. And that one's a good breaking ball.
Ooh,
and they appeal down to first and nothing doing.
Looked pretty good from here.
It did look like a good pitch. And not sure what was missing on that, but it might have been a little bit too low. So here's another one. That one, however, was right on the money and on target and strike, says the umpire. So it will even the count at 2. And Bobo looks in. Here's the windup and the pitch. Going to be outside corner and the strike.
Ooh. Got that one called.
And rung him up. First strikeout for Bobo, and a good job. And we talked about it earlier. He just needed to get his rhythm, and he had it on that one. So now Peyton Murray steps up.
Well, that umpire's like that outside corner right there.
He does. He likes that, yeah. He likes that a lot over there. And Peyton Murray, big young man stepping in. I believe he's the designated hitter. That one's in there for a ball. This will be 1-0. As Murray waits, Bobo kicks the leg and brings the pitch. That's going right up the middle. Kaufman's on the line. He bobbles it.
Oh.
No good. He had a good run on it and just tried to throw it before he had the ball. That's going to end up being, in my book, that's going to be an E6.
It's a tough play, though. I mean,
very tough play. He made a good pursuit angle on it.
If he would have bobbled it just one time, I think, and then got a throw off, no error.
Right.
But after he bobbled it a couple times, I think you're right, Keith. I think that's going to be an error.
And it looks like they're going to give him a base hit for that, which, I mean, okay. I don't want to give a player an error on my end, and I'm not the official scorekeeper, but that, to me, would have been an out. Kaufman had a good run on it. He did a good job. That was in there for a strike, by the way. And he had the ability and the arm strength, I believe, to throw. Murray was, no offense, he's not a speed demon.
No.
But he would have been thrown out. But the official call is a base hit, so we're going to go with it as well.
And in all essence, it's an out. And, I mean, it's not an out, so it's a hit, an error, whatever.
Either way, there's a base runner.
Yep.
And that'll put Cameron Johnson, who's set up there with no balls and 1 strike. They just they just threw over to Peyton Murray over there. That's going to be a bunt down the first base line.
Nice bunt.
And it's a toss, but Johnson beats the run.
Wow.
And that puts 2 runners on. A good bunt down the first base line. then the sacrifice bunt works to perfection.
But
no sacrifice was in.
Yeah, it works better than perfection.
Well, and what Cameron Johnson saw, and maybe the coach saw it too, was your first baseman, who usually in those types of situations, when I guess Johnson didn't show bunt, is he was covering first, and so when the bunt is on and you throw it down there, your first baseman isn't up,
and your second baseman wasn't over to cover.
Your second baseman wasn't over, and I mean, nobody was in the positions they were supposed to be in. That was going to be high for a ball.
It's a nice job by Johnson. Took advantage of the, I wouldn't call that a mistake, more of a mental mistake on the part of, because you got to know when the bunt does happen, your second baseman's got to get over there.
And Armstrong with a good hit out into right center field as Carnes gets over. There's the good throw, and a relay not going to go as Kaufman cuts it off. The sacrifice fly by Dylan Armstrong puts runners at the corners.
And the reason I talk about that is, it can happen, but those little things right there, if they cover the bag there and they're able to get that out, now the inning's over right there on that fly out, Keith, and we're out with zeros. That gives Harleton an extra at bat here, and those are the kind of things that can make a difference in scoring more runs.
And they're going to appeal. The coach is going to have Bobo walk over, run over, and tag the base, and because they don't believe that Murray tagged up on the throw on the catch.
I guess they probably thought he left too soon.
Left too soon.
But
it's always good to check.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt
and
you.
We have time on the field as Colton Carnes steps out and gives everybody what they need to do. Gage Schertz, who had a base hit back in the first, steps in with runners at the corners.
Yeah, if you were Drew Bobo here, just worry about that player at the plate here, and you got one out to get out of this inning here. No foul here.
If the runner goes, you just let him.
Talking about the runner first?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking about the runner.
I thought you were asking me.
No.
Yes,
I'm saying if the runner goes at first, you want to let him.
Yeah.
You don't want to absolutely have an opportunity for that run at third to come in. Here's the pitch. That's going to be an awesome breaking ball. Wow. Great. That one just came right over and kind of buckled Schertz there a little bit. And that's going to be strike one. 0-1 the count. Great job by Bobo. He takes a look in. The Noisemakers fans over on the Harleton side stepping up their game. There's a throw over to first, and not in time, almost though.
There's a lot of media here, Keith.
There really is.
Probably one of the most media-attended games we've been to. Of course, we are regional finals.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of games in this area, which is probably the reason. But you got 1, 2, 3 video cameras around us, not counting ours doing the game. So.
And then you got newspaper. There's a throw over to first.
Yeah. Couple
newspapers.
Couple
and
different
TV,
newspapers.
yeah.
These guys to the left of us are from the Daily Sentinel in Nacogdoches.
Yep. You got a radio station to our right.
Yeah.
So well covered here today.
Yeah, these teams are getting the coverage that they deserve.
Oh,
making
yes,
it
they
this
are.
Far.
And we're excited and happy that you are with us on the coverage. There the runner goes, and the hit and run was on, but everybody's got to go back and reset. Cameron Johnson took off like a lightning bolt. But he has to go all the way back to first and take a breather. And the count advances to 0-2 right now. So 2 on, 2 outs, 2 strikes, and number 22 at the plate. I just wanted to do that. Bubbo looks in, runner goes, there's the pitch, it's high.
Oh, high. Oh.
Throw to third, almost gets over Bragg, but Bragg does a good job to come off the bag and jump for that catch.
I like what you did there.
You like that? I really didn't mean to.
Bragg jumped off the bag?
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. That was a happy pun. So 1-2 is the count.
Yeah, that ball, that could have been in the outfield easily. Bragg did a great job of timing his jump coming off the bag and making sure that the ball didn't get by him.
So now runners at second and third. Here's the pitch. That's going to be a high fly ball into left field. Niver.
Oh, what a catch, Keith.
A beautiful catch.
Oh, that's at least saving one run, probably two, Keith.
And once again,
man. Hey, what was the number 2 thing I said tonight?
big play.
I think that constitutes a big play right there.
And once again, runners are left on for Harleton, and no runs come in.
Man, what a play.
And great job by Luke Niver, the left fielder, to get onto that one.
I mean, he had his jetpack on, and he chased that one down in the gap. Man, that would be on ESPN's Plays of the Week on that one, because that was a beautiful slide run catch that he had there. And that is why we talked about the little mistake earlier gave him the extra out, but they made a big play to counter the mistake, and that got him out of the inning. And here's the thing, as well as Carson Wallace has pitched, it's tied, Keith.
Right.
There's nobody ahead in this game.
Well,
you would look at the way the game has gone. You would think Harleton would be up, 2 or 3 to nothing right now, but Douglas has done what they needed to do,
and what they've done all season, and that's play good baseball.
Exactly. So that's why these teams are here.
Because I mean, and don't get me wrong, we haven't been able to see Harleton's outfield play yet because Wallace has struck out.
We have no idea what they.
But it's regional final baseball.
Yeah,
they made it here for a reason.
This is great baseball here.
It's beautiful to watch. And now Colton Carnes, number 13, is going to step up, and we're going to see if this can change or if Carson Wallace can continue the trend. And that one's going to get appealed over to first base, and the first base umpire just kind of stares at him. And
he's like, no.
And he's done that 2 or 3 times. I guess if he doesn't make a move, we're just supposed to assume that it's a ball. That's going to be high and outside for ball 2. Yeah, that umpire just kind of looks at him like, what?
He's like, what are you doing?
What do you want me to do? I wish he would just, do what he's supposed to do and make it safe or out. That's way outside for ball 3. And we might have a opportunity here. I'm going to knock on wood for something, but Colton Carnes is up 3-0. Here's the pitch. That's down the middle for a strike. And once again, just like back at the beginning of the last one.
Yeah, he had a 3-0 as well, and then Wallace was able to fight back and get a strikeout.
I believe Jace Bobo was that one. He had 3-0. Here's the pitch by Wallace, and that's going to be on the inside corner for a strike. Beautiful pitch.
That's why he's got such control, Keith. It's like he gets down 3-0, and he's not concerned. He's not worried. He just relaxes and throws his pitches.
Here's the windup in the pitch. That's going to be fouled back. And it'll remain a full count.
I think that's one of the things that's really impressed me so far is he doesn't seem to get flustered when he throws some balls. He
stands in there and he maintains.
It's the same
his
motion.
Composure.
Yeah, same
Here's
motion.
The pitch outside, high, and a ball, and we have ourselves a base runner for the Indians. And this might just be the opening that Douglas needs to get things going. Number 12, Garrett Carnes is going to step in.
He's trying to see if he can move his brother over as Colton Carnes on first.
Kason Sandridge is on deck, and that one's going to be low for a ball.
So this will be interesting. First time that Carson Wallace has faced any kind of adversity in this game. Little as this is, he got to walk.
Yeah, and the first time we've been able to see a little bit of got a ball that was thrown. Some kids are playing over there. Got a ball that was thrown into right field, so we had to call a little time.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he reacts here.
Oh yeah.
And see if Harleton giving up a base runner here that affects any kind of body language on him. I mean, so far he's been absolutely stellar.
Here's the pitch. Runner's going, and the throw is there in time.
Oh, nice. Oh, I love it.
By Mason Clark.
Clark holstered that one too, Keith.
Yeah,
you see,
did.
that was funny.
Well, because Garrett Carnes went for the bunt, and he had to move out of the way.
Now, we saw a play like that in a playoff game, and they called interference, but then they threw him out, so it didn't matter.
Well, but actually in that situation, it was different. He didn't. That, by the way, was a foul ball for a strike. In this situation, the bunt or the play, what he was doing, took him over the plate, and he actually was making a move to get out of the way. In last week's game, he actually just kind of walked.
Yeah.
The movement, he didn't make a swing. He didn't do anything. He just kind of meandered into the way. Yeah. That he actually the movement of the.
But it was a harder throw. That was a tough throw because he had to throw over him.
And that was a strikeout, by the way.
Whew.
So another strikeout by Wallace. Sorry about that. We just kind of got off. Here's the windup of the pitch by Wallace. That's going to be a hit by pitch. And so we got another base runner. 2 outs, though, as Kaysen Standrich will go over and take his place at first base. And we're back to the top of the lineup as Drew Bobo steps in. And that was actually the first left-hander, I believe.
Well, and he likes throwing. He likes throwing to that left-handed side of the box.
I was going to say he likes throwing into the left-handed batter's box and about the middle that gets called strike sometimes. And that one hit.
See, that's still going over towards that side.
But that one's in there for a ball. So Bobo stands in with a runner on first in Kaysen Standrich. And here's the pitch. Swung on and missed for a strike. So 1-1 now the count. And we're ready here. Carson Wallace looks over, checks the runner at first, and brings the pitch home. That's a little curveball, but it's going to be outside for a ball. The umpire seems to be settling down a little bit on his calls as well, and he's not calling as many over in the outside. Yeah, he's not taking the fake of Clark's awesome frame jobs that he has when he brings that ball back over the plate.
Yeah, he's doing it. Clark does a great job with that framing that pitch. Really something that, see, even on that one, good. He's been taught well. You can tell.
One thing I've noticed about him that and I've watched a lot of baseball this year. One thing I've noticed about him is he doesn't try to bring it right into the middle of the plate. He tries to bring it right on the outside corner or where it's close. That one's going to be a ball, so we have another walk as Drew Bobo takes his place over at first base, and we have a runner now in scoring position for the first time for the Douglas Indians.
It's like going to be a courtesy runner for Bobo.
We're going to get a courtesy runner number 5, Kelton McKay. Looks like he's going to come out and take the place. And he'll do a good job of running behind the pitcher. It's bad luck to run in front.
Is that like walking under a ladder?
Well, no, and you're not supposed to run on the baselines either. You're supposed to hop over those. Just things you learn. Wallace with the pitch. That's a good little breaking ball, but it's going to be high for ball 1. You're not supposed to run in front of the pitcher during the game.
It's a good opportunity here for Douglas to do something here.
Oh, yeah. Base hit or score a run. Good job. Would be a good job for Riley Kaufman to do. And that's going to be in there for a ball as well.
Well, the one thing we haven't seen Wallace do is give up any hits yet. He has walked and hit a batter to let some people
And the coach is going to come out and have a talk with Wallace. Maybe calm him down, thinking that he's walked a couple of batters.
I wonder, too, if he sees something possibly in his mechanics that's changed. Because he has started kind of.
Or maybe he sees a little frustration as well. But, yeah, you're saying you've seen something I haven't, but you may have seen something I haven't.
Yeah, well, and it seems like this inning he's struggling with getting that pitch. The one he's been putting on the corner, it's just going farther and farther out to our right here, looking behind the home plate, into that left-handed batter's box. He's hit somebody there. It seems that's where he's missing pitches.
Yeah.
So mechanically, maybe the coach sees something. I don't know. That just
I'll tell you, in this inning, he's walked 2, hit 1, and struck out 1. So, and that's in there for a strike. 2-1 now the count. And the only reason he has 2 outs is because Mason Clark threw 1 out trying to steal second. Here's the pitch. That's a good one. That's a high fly ball going to be out play, and that'll even the count at 2.
Now if you're Douglas, too, do you regret trying to get that runner over on a steal? I mean, now you'd have bases loaded here and 1 out.
Hindsight is 20/20 and all that. And, yeah, you can think about, excuse me, doing that. Here's the pitch. That's going to be inside. He did swing, but he's going to call that a foul ball. So the count remains 2-2. So Kaufman's going to step back in.
Did it hit him too when he swung? Because it looked like he thought it might have hit his leg or something.
And that's going to be low and outside. I think so.
Because if you swing,
I think he tipped it.
Yeah.
I think it was a foul tip, and it hit him in the foot.
Because he kind of walked gingerly out of the box a little bit.
And that's happened to me a couple of times when I played. There's the pitch. It's going to be a good hit. But that's going over to Armstrong, and they're going to tag.
All he had to do was run backwards and tag the base if he wanted to.
Jason Standrich tried to maneuver, but not much he can do on that. And a good job by Dylan Armstrong over there at third.
So Wallace faces adversity and got through it there.
And just like Drew Bobo has, the outfield helped him out a little bit.
Yep.
And now we're on to the bottom of the third. The game is a swift game going here so far. A lot of good baseball, but good baseball usually is pretty swift.
Yeah.
Brett.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, what are you seeing? I mean, we're here on the bottom of the third. I'm seeing some good things. We've had the big plays.
Yeah.
We've had the strikeouts.
I see a pretty even matchup here, Keith. I know the records don't show that, but you know, once you get in this round, what's your record here when you start this series?
To me, it's even.
0-0.
Yeah, to me, it's even.
So it doesn't matter if you've won 33 games or 13 games. You're both here, and it just matters who wins 2 out of 3. So,
right.
I mean, if you're Douglas, I think you feel pretty good about this. If you're facing Harleton's best pitcher,
right,
and you're staying right with him, and you've had opportunities. Last thing they had opportunities, and when Harleton's had opportunities, they've scored. Both teams, I mean, they're pretty similar as far as the way it's gone. The only difference is Wallace was just completely dominant the first 2 innings, and Douglas has had a couple innings where they've given up some hits to Harleton, and had a couple more. I guess Harleton's had a couple more chances to score.
Right.
But
and you're right. The record doesn't matter when you're here, because lose, you're going home either way.
Yep.
So Bobo is ready to go as number 10, Carson Wallace, is going to step in. He's the left-hander. Here's the windup in the pitch from Drew Bobo. Good pitch on the outside corner for strike number 1. And he painted that one. The umpire tried to go the other way.
That was a nice pitch. Right on that outside corner of the right batter's box here.
Here's the windup and the pitch again. And a swung on and missed by Wallace. Little pitcher-on-pitcher action here. Now 0-2. And you got to think Bobo is wanting to do a little strikeout against him here. And that's going to be a hit over to shortstop. Hoffman has it. Here's the throw. Not in time. It gets past Jace Bobo. It was offline. It bounced. And I think, once again, Kaufman struggles a little bit on the exchange from the glove to the hand.
Well, it was a high bounce off that turf, Keith.
Yeah.
That first bounce, it bounced over his head level, which, you know, on a turf field, it's a different bounce than grass and dirt. I don't know what these two teams have at their own field, but if you're not used to playing turf, it takes a little bit different bounce. He was able to glove it. He just couldn't get it out, like it was stuck. He couldn't get it out of his glove, transferred over to his hand. And I don't know, even if he'd have snagged it, if he could have got out the runner on first. Anyway, I mean, I don't know that he could have gotten
Wallace is pretty fast.
Yeah, he's speedy.
Pardon me.
Ooh, and that's going to be just a little bit. I thought outside, but they gave him the strike there, Keith. He liked that outside corner, and that's going to be a 0-1 count.
And Mason Clark was hit by a pitch the last time. So we'll see what he can do this time. Bobo throws over to first, almost gets him, but it gets away from Jace. Kind of bounces off his glove.
And I think there's a courtesy runner over there on first, Keith. Looks like Caden Skaggs.
Oh, is that who it is? Okay, I didn't see that coming in. They kind of
because they both have
they're kind of ninja-like switching out there right by the dugout there.
Yeah, well, you had 10, now you have 20, so the number.
Runner goes, and it was kind of close and almost hit him.
Oh,
and
all the way in the outfield.
And the runner's going to third.
Oh.
And the throw from the outfield as Carnes throws it offline. Brad could not get it, but a good job by Drew Bobo to back it up and keep it from going any further as Skaggs makes it all the way to third on the steal. So now we have the opportunity 90 feet away to have our first run of the ball game.
And a big run it would be here in this one.
And a 1-1 count. And here's the pitch. That's going to be on the outside corner high, and that's called a ball. So now 2-1 is the count. And these Harleton fans are chomping at the bit.
They're ready to get loud, I think.
They're ready to get that score across, but the Douglas fans are ready for that not to happen. They're hoping that Bobo can do his magic. That's going to be on the outside for a ball, so 3-1 now the count, with nobody out and a runner on third. Bobo looks third, kicks the leg and brings the pitch. That's a good pitch, swung on and missed by Clark, and we now have a full count.
So right now, if you're Drew Bobo here, I think you focus on getting batters out. You can't control. If you get strikeouts, you can limit the run scored here. Any kind of hit much out of the infield is going to score a run
and
anyway.
If you're Clark, you're wanting to hit the ball no matter what. So you're going to swing at anything close, and that's what he did, and he fouled it off towards the dugout. Yeah, if you're Clark, you're wanting to hit anything that gets in your vicinity because you have no outs. So if you can get it out of the infield or even in the infield anywhere, you're going to score a run.
Yeah, pretty much any hit unless it's just a really hard hit to an infielder.
Or it's right back to the pitcher.
Yeah.
Here's the pitch. That's going to be a high fly ball, and that's going to hurt you because that's going to be short right field. And so a good job by Gavin Robinson to come in really fast and really far to get that ball, and does a good job to keep Skaggs on third.
Yeah, good job by Robinson. That's another thing, the fly ball, unless it was deep, it's not going to score one at this point. It's going to have to be, out in a deeper part of the outfield to score a run here.
Now Sean Booth's opportunity to bring that run home. Drew Bobo brings the pitch. It's going to be on the outside corner, but no, says the umpire.
Oh, he wanted that one.
I'm going to quit calling that because that pitch always, to me, catches that outside corner.
Well, he thought it was. He could tell his shoulders dropped, and he's like, "Oh, I thought I had it."
Well, he's called that pitch all night as a strike, but not anymore. That's going to be a ball as well. So 2 balls and no strike. And the buckets and stuff are going crazy over here on the Harleton side. As Bobo brings the pitch, that's going to be inside corner, and no, says the umpire. Shakes his head on that. As I guess everybody thought that was going to be a strike, so he preemptively shook his head no. So now 3 balls and no strikes. I think if you shake your head no like that, you missed the call because he shook it immediately afterwards. Bobo looks in and checks third, brings the pitch. And again, a pitch that is a strike gets called a ball, and even the coach and the fans, and I think some of the Harleton fans are even looking at each other going, really? So that's going to be a walk, and that's just not understanding what's going on here. Neither the frustration is mounting and showing on Drew Bobo. Mannerisms in his face, and I think the coach just is heading out there to talk to him and tell them to not worry about it.
Yeah, just settle them down a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, right now you got one out.
You can understand the frustration.
A double play is in play here. If he can get a ground out to an infielder where it's a sharp grounder,
right?
Could get a double play, get out of the inning. I think right now you would be okay with giving up. You don't want to give up a run anyway, but you'd be okay with just giving up one if you get out of this inning without any more damage.
Right.
So if you're Bobo, you just want to make sure you don't do anything else here. You don't want to give up a big hit where you possibly a 2-run score. You've got a guy on first here he's got some pretty good speed, and so you don't want to make this inning any bigger than you have to. You want to try to limit the damage. If you can get out without any scoring any runs, that's excellent.
Yeah.
But you definitely don't want to try to, I guess, work too hard and overcompensate and turn this 1-run inning into a 3 or 4-run inning.
And we've seen that happen before where you try to force it and then it ends up biting you in the behind on that as well. So the conference on the mound is over. The umpire had to go out there and end it early. And so Braden Hopkins, who flew out, pardon me, and the first is stepping in with runners at the corners and only 1 out for the Wildcats. Bobo checks the runners, steps off the rubber and regains his composure. I will say one thing, and I'm going to talk about the uniforms real quick. I like the old the socks there that the Indians are wearing. It's the old kind of stirrup style that they used to wear.
Yeah,
it's not
where you got the
pants all the way down.
You got the white down at the bottom with kind of the striped stirrup type thing. And
that's what I call old school.
How would you know about that?
Because I played baseball a long time ago.
Just checking.
Back in the 1900s, apparently. Here's the pitch from Bobo. That's going to go right down the middle. And finally, the umpire remembered how to call strikes, and he puts that one on there. And we got a strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. And Braden Hopkins trying to see if he can bring that run home. Bobo checks the runners and brings this pitch. That's going to be over the plate, but no, says the umpire. Little breaking ball, might have been a little low. So 1-1 now the count. And Hopkins going to try to figure out what to do. Left-hander. Good opportunity for him to break this one down the line. That's going to be high and outside, definitely a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. And haven't seen the first base runner, Sean Booth, trying to do anything yet. So I don't know, Bret, if they're going to keep him there or if they're going to try to let him run or what. There's the throw over to first, which is scary to do.
I think with 1 out, you leave him there at this point.
Right.
Because if you try to, what you don't want to do is he does get caught stealing, and they may throw it. They might not, but if he gets caught stealing, then it's 2 outs.
Right.
And now anything with strikeout or anything ends the inning. So Harleton's probably playing a little safe right now, just trying to get some runs across.
And that's way inside. Good job by Colton Carnes to keep that one from going all the way back to the backstop.
So every base runner right now is important. Both pitchers have been pretty good. So,
well, and this is a big pitch right here. Another ball will load the bases, which is not unusual for Bobo, but that's a good hit in the outfield, and the run comes home. And the Wildcats are on the board first. So a base hit by Braden Hopkins puts a run in. It's an RBI single.
It's a big run in this game where it's been played. So
sure, yeah.
And the other thing is, Keith, they didn't have to sacrifice an out for it.
No, they did not. It was a good pop right over the center fielder into the base hit territory right there.
Yeah.
So Tanner Tate will now have an opportunity with 2 on and 1 out. And another base hit will score a run. Here's the pitch. That's going to be low and outside. And it looks like Bobo is getting a little bit into his head there and trying to force pitches that he normally hasn't been over the last couple of innings.
Yeah, we talked about it a while ago. Just, the one runs in, but concentrate on the batter. Try to get the out here and limit the damage.
Yeah. Bobo checks second. Looks like Tate may. He's faking bunt, but that's in there for a strike either way. I don't know if he's toying with Bobo or not. Might be. He struck out. Tanner Tate struck out the last inning at his last at bat. Here's the pitch. That's going to be high. Good job by Colton Carnes to catch that ball and keep it from going.
Went over Tanner Tate's head.
Yeah.
Man.
And with Carnes to have the ability to pop up and get that ball like that, that saved a lot.
Yeah, it would have had runners on second and third. He doesn't catch that.
Bobo checks. Here's the pitch. Good pitch on the outside corner. That one's going to be the strike. That's a beautiful pitch. He's been pitching all night, and it's iffy on whether the umpire is going to call it or not. But that's going to be 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bobo gets the sign and turns.
And nobody was there to throw it to. But
Carson Wallace. No, that's not Wallace. I apologize. Trying to figure out who is out there on second.
That Booth?
Might be Booth. I believe that is Booth.
That's Booth.
Bobo sets and hings the pitch. High hit. It's going to be short. Luke Knive with the catch. Easy catch. Little shallow.
Just what Bobo needed there. Got to fly out. Now he's got two outs.
And Booth I can't speak. It was too shallow for Booth to make a tag to get to third.
Well, and he didn't even try. He was halfway there just in case he dropped it, honestly. And then as soon as the catch was made, then he went back to second. So
now you got Peyton Murray. He had a base hit last inning. We'll see what he can do. This is the one where Riley Kaufman kind of bobbled a little bit. That's in there for a strike. And that one also off the outside corner. Now Bobo taking a look in. Time is called as Bobo was taking a little bit too long. And the coach for Douglas trying to get the signs in as fast as possible to everybody. Now they got it. Bobo sets, checks the runner at second, kicks the leg and brings it home. That's on the outside corner as well. Strike 2.
Well, 1 strike away here for Bobo. If he can get this last strike.
Yep.
I think your coach over there, Coach Douglas, is going to be happy to limit that just to 1 run here.
Yeah, to come away with just 1 run after that is a good job by Bobo and the Indians behind him. Checks second, kicks the leg, brings it home. Good high pitch, but it's going to be too high. That was about the middle of the helmet there, high. Now we have 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bobo sets and ready with the windup and the pitch. High once again. That was the same pitch he just did, so 2-2. And we haven't had an opportunity. We want to thank you for watching us on NETsn Live and listening to us on our YouTube channel, NETsn Live. Go ahead and like and subscribe so you don't miss a minute of East Texas sports action. If you're watching, head over to our YouTube channel, NETsn Live. That's going to be foul back and out of play.
Yeah, chat up with us on our YouTube channel. Come over and just jump over, even if you're on the video.
Yeah.
And let us know where you're watching the game, who you're rooting for today, what team.
Yeah. And if you go ahead and like and subscribe and you want to watch tomorrow night's game, you'll be able to get the alerts. and not miss it at all. Bobo gets set, looks in, gets the pitch he wants, checks second. Booth kind of toying with him a little bit, and here's the pitch. Good pitch down the middle, but no, says the umpire.
Must have been a little low.
It might have been a little low. I kind of lost track of it. It was right on line, but I do believe you are correct, sir. It was a little low. So 3-2 now the count, a big pitch. So it's a big at-bat for Peyton Murray and a big pitch for Drew Bobo. Who will come out on top, we will find out.
Yeah, biggest pitch tonight for Bobo so far here.
Bobo turns around, and Booth gets back to second base. So Bobo gets back on the rubber and looks in to Colton Carnes. He gets the sign he wants. Kicks the leg, brings the pitch, and it's going to be a fly ball into right field. Robinson back, brings it in, and out number 3. So Bobo does a good job, along with his friends in the outfield, of only getting 1 run out of that inning. But first blood goes to the Wildcats of Harleton as they get on the board. And we're through 3 here at Trinity Mother Francis, Mike Carter Field in Tyler, Texas. We'll be right back. Our sponsor for this regional final action is Azalea Orthopedics. Don't go anywhere.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
We are back at Mike Carter Field. Peyton Bragg for the Indians is going to step in here at the top of the 4th. He struck out back in the first inning. Here's the pitch by Wallace. That's going to be hit by pitch. So just like that, the Indians are going to have a runner on first to get things started.
That's a decent start to the inning there, I would say.
And that's how you want to do it.
Unfortunately, when Wallace has been off, he's been off.
Right.
When he's been on, he's been on. It's either striking out folks or he's walking or hitting people. Still no hits allowed. So
Gavin Robinson now is going to swing at that first pitch. He's responsible for the final out of the last inning. And he's going to end up with strike 1 here, fouling off that first pitch. And that one's going to foul back too. So now, finding himself down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. With Peyton Bragg on first base. Nobody out yet. That one is hit down. Well, I say down. It was an optical illusion as that one goes foul as well. We are in the top of the 4th. We played an hour of baseball here. And a good fan base for both sides. That one's also fouled off, so it looks like Gavin Robinson not going to go away quietly.
he's battling here against Wallace.
Well, he struck out in the 2nd inning, so he's hoping not to do that in the 4th. Here's the pitch. That one's hit into a right field foul territory, out of play. So we're back to the drawing board. Robinson will step back up. Wallace takes a look in. Gets the sign he wants, checks the runner at first. Kicks in, fires. Good.
Ooh.
Ball,
Man, I can see that one, Keith.
running
Ah,
up beautifully.
what a curveball. It just dropped in there.
And that thing just, yeah. What you said, I can't add to it.
I just want to see the tracer on that one.
Right. If we had that technology, we'd do it. That's going to be a hit straight into center field. But Gage Schertz takes about 5 steps backwards and rings that one in.
It was basically right at him. I mean,
Yeah, he didn't really have to go anywhere. Doing a little bow and arrow thing and waving to the crowd and all that kind of stuff and running for mayor out there in center field. But gets out number 2 because
he's probably
caught that
excited.
ball.
He's excited to get some action.
He did.
I mean,
But he did a good job. He caught the ball.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
And he gets out
Is
number
that,
2.
is that the first hit to the outfield?
That is the first hit to the outfield.
He's like, man, that's what you get, guys. I got the first one here.
Luke Niver watches the first pitch go on the outside batter's box for ball 1.
The other guys are probably jealous they haven't gotten to touch the ball yet. That's why he was probably so excited.
He's looking over at the right fielder just a minute ago, and I think they're kind of laughing at each other because nothing's happened. That's a swung on and miss for a strike. And actually, I say it was a miss. I believe he tipped that one down.
Yeah, I think
As the umpire, mentioned that.
Yeah.
Allergies are kicking me. And time is called.
I'm just glad it's not. The weather's been nice. I mean, we got the
Right.
fans blowing on us here, but
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, it's
overall,
not-
it's not too hot.
It's a beautiful night. Got a little, almost full moon going out there. It's a blue sky.
It was probably one of the coolest Mays
Yes.
that I can remember in a long time.
Except for last Saturday
Well,
when we were at White House.
But it was
for
still
that
only
game.
like 80-something degrees.
Well, I'm bald, old, and fat, so it was hot for me sitting out in the
I
sun.
mean, it was, but
Here's a pitch and a great
Oh!
breaking ball again. And if we had a tracer, that would
Oh.
be beautiful.
oh,
That's strike number 2. 1 ball and 2 strike.
hopefully that camera view at home does that justice because that pitch was
It was
amazing.
great. Here's the pitch. Flat fastball, swung on and missed, and a strikeout. Puts Niver down.
And Wallace settled it down that inning, Keith. Once he got that hit by a pitch out of the
Yeah,
way, he just settled down.
That one kind of hurt him a little bit, and then good old Schertz out there in center field helped him out with that one. Getting that out. And we'll be heading to the bottom of the 4th inning. This game moves right along with some regional final action here. And Drew Bobo still at the helm for the Indians. And rightfully so. He's pitched a very good ball game despite what it is.
Yep.
But I wanted to mention something real quick. If
Yeah.
you look over there at the under the H on the top, we got a little bit of a no-hitter
we
going
do.
on.
Do we say that? You shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I'm going to say it. Yeah, we got a little bit of a no-hitter going on here in the bottom of the 4th by Wallace. He's done a great job.
Have you called a no-hitter yet this year, Keith?
I have not. I have not called a no-hitter, and we possibly could get one. However, we possibly could not.
Yeah. But and you look at the other side of the board. I mean, only giving up 5 hits from Bubba. I mean, that's not bad as well. It's just, I mean, this is a tough matchup, man. Just 2.
It's awesome baseball. I'm loving it. Every minute of it. Both sides. The fans are great. The teams are playing great. You're not seeing any kind of emotional outbursts or any kind of unsportsmanlike play or really anything. It's really a great place to watch and two great teams to watch as well. And it's quite enjoyable to call. And Cam Johnson, who made a beautiful bunt back in the 2nd inning to advance runners.
A bunt hit.
A bunt hit, yeah. Made a base hit, bunt. Is going to step up, and he'll be the first here in the bottom of the 4th. Bobo gets ready. Hit the windup, and here's the pitch. Good pitch on a swung on and miss.
Ooh, nice pitch from Bobo.
Pardon me. And a good cut by Johnson, just could not get around on it fast enough.
Both pitchers have just brought good stuff tonight.
Well, both of them have great breaking balls. And that one is on the inside corner for strike 2. Fans didn't like that one for Harleton.
Yeah.
But I will have to say that one caught the inside corner from what I could see. Here's the pitch. That one's outside. That one is a ball. So 1-2 is the count.
He's trying to get in the chase a little bit there.
Yeah, I think he was trying to see if he could go fishing on that one. Johnson's a little bit too smart. Did not go fishing. That's why he has all those stickers on the back of his helmet there. Here's the windup and the pitch for Bobo. Good breaking ball.
Ooh,
he did go fish on that one.
He got full, but he stayed alive. Just got a piece of it.
He asked, did you have any threes? And nope, he hit that one foul. No third strike on that. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bobo looks in. Here's the windup and brings the pitch. Inside and high. Why they're appealing on that, I don't know, because he didn't really swing.
Yeah.
The bat never left his shoulder, looked like. But
his shoulders went forward, but the bat never moved.
But the umpire over in first base
he
said
gave a
no,
reaction.
He did. He gave a reaction. I'm proud of him. Here's the windup and the pitch from Bobo. And a good fastball in the outside corner.
Oh, rung him up, Keith.
For strike number 3.
I love the umpire.
Did a good job.
He's pulling
he pulled that
lawnmower string, and then he rang it back and he pulled it backwards. I mean, he pulled it up and then backwards.
So back at the top of the lineup, here in the top of the 4th, Dylan Armstrong. Excuse me, the bottom of the 4th, Dylan Armstrong.
This guy's competing for the best reaction as far as an umpire goes.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good one. Armstrong waiting on the pitch. It's a good little curveball, but it's high.
I know we've talked about this a few times. We've got to figure out the hoodie thing.
Yeah, I need to talk to. I guess I need to talk to my daughter about that.
Yeah, intern Claire
needs to tell us about that.
Know.
That's a good hit out of the outfield. That's going to right field and a base hit. And just like that, the Wildcats have a runner on first. Beautiful hit by Dylan Armstrong, and that brings Gage Schertz, who has a base hit and a fly out to his name so far in this ball game. And he'll step into the batter's box and see what he can do with a runner on first and only 1 out. Bobo checks the runner at first from the stretch. And here's the pitch. Runner's going to go halfway, but a hit and run was on. That's going to go to right field.
Oh, got to get back.
Good job by Gavin Robinson.
Yeah, because that hit and run.
Yep, that was on. And Armstrong was almost to second.
Yeah, he was going to get to third easily. So
right, but a good job. And Gavin Robinson broke on that ball immediately and did exactly what he was supposed to do. What have I said all year? You're in the outfield. The ball hits. What do you do first? It's easier to run forward. Run faster forward than you do backwards.
Yeah, you don't want to run forward until you know.
So you run backwards first, and he did. He broke on the ball backwards.
You can always come up.
Job.
Oh, he's been busy tonight over there in right field.
Here's a pitch. That's going to high fly ball. It's going to be short in center field. Garrett Carnes underneath and get out number 3. So the base hit by Armstrong comes to nothing as 2 flyouts after the strikeout by Cameron Johnson. And a good job by Drew Bobo and company to end that inning with a big 0 over there. So they'll get to come back up and try to do something on this top of the 5th. But we're going to take a really short break. We'll be right back. Sponsored by Azalea Orthopedics. Hey, don't go anywhere. Like and subscribe before we come back. We'll be right back.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
We are back at the top of the 5th here. Wallace with the windup in the pitch. And that's going to be fouled off by Colton Carnes for strike number 1. Bret, how do you think the game's going so far, bud?
Man, it's going about like I expected. A really good matchup, really good pitching. Harleton was able to take advantage of some base runners that haven't been done by Douglas. So, I mean, that's really the difference. They just took advantage of the base runners getting on. They've had a few more, and they're able to cash in on one.
And Wallace, let me stop you real quick. Wallace just struck out another one.
Wallace struck somebody out, no way.
Colton Carnes just struck out.
Are we in double digits yet on those strikeouts, Keith?
Let me check.
Close.
That's the 10th strikeout right there.
Oh,
good job.
I wasn't counting. He's had so many. You had to figure he's getting close to that mark.
Yep. Garrett Carnes now steps in, and he will swing at that one for strike 1.
When you strike out 10 batters, you're usually pitching pretty well.
Right. I wonder what his pitch count's at, though. When you strike out that many batters, you're pitching a whole lot of pitches.
Yeah. Not if you're not getting a lot of balls. Now, that couple innings he pitched a lot. When he had the walks and the hit by pitch and stuff. But
here's the pitch by Wallace. That's high and outside for a ball.
But they're not worried about that. They just want to get through this game.
Well, they're probably not gonna use him.
Yeah, he's
tomorrow.
done for this series.
He's done for this series. They're hoping to save him. A good little breaking ball. That one breaks inside, really, really inside. The Harleton fans thought that was going to cut the inside corner, but it did not. It cut the inside corner of the back of the batter's box, and so did that one. So now the count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
He's been good on these.
Yes, he has. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 4, and Garrett Carnes will take his base. So after the strikeout for the leadoff runner, the Indians have a runner on first. And Kason Standridge will step in, and he was hit by pitch on the last one.
Yeah, we talked about he's that lefty on that where Wallace likes to throw it a lot.
He likes to throw into that batter's box there, but not on that one. As Standridge swung on and missed.
He stands pretty close to the plate too, so I wonder if he ends up taking another hit by pitch here.
Here's the pitch, another swung and miss. So 0-2 now.
He's adjusted.
Yeah, bringing that over to the plate. 2 good pitches. Whether he swung on those or not, I have a feeling they'd still be 0-2 as the count.
Well,
and 3 pitches, 3 swings, 3 strikes, and a strikeout, number 11. Whew. And now back to the top of the lineup as Drew Bobo is going to step in. He has struck out and walked both times he's stepped up to the plate. And see what he can do on this one.
Could be seeing some NETsn history tonight, Keith.
Possibly. Here's the pitch.
Oh,
that one is a breaking ball, and that looks like he was just lasered right to. I mean, I don't think that Clark's glove even moved.
Oh, geez, that was just. You can't. It's almost indescribable. Yep. You just have to see.
That's a throw over to first, just to make sure.
And I'm fairly certain. I don't know all the games you did this year, but 11 strikeouts. That could definitely be a NETsn.
I don't think
record.
The only one close, I believe, was Ryan Betts out of Lindale. I think got close. That's going to be a high fly ball in the infield. It's going to go back, actually. And Braden Hopkins, first baseman, catches that one right in front of the Wildcat dugout for out number 3. And so 4 batters, and the side retires as a walk didn't come out for anything. So Drew Bobo is going to come out and try to see what he can do in the bottom of the 5th to keep the Wildcats to just that 1 run.
Yeah.
And as long as this 1-run game is there, neither team has a leg up.
Yeah, it could be coming down to that 7th inning. So
right.
Don't go in there. Make sure if you're watching or listening, make sure you tell your friends and family about this great matchup here in East Texas.
We got a good one. You know, if you like baseball, it doesn't matter what team you're rooting for.
In East
If
Texas,
you like baseball,
there's nobody left, Keith.
Right.
Pretty much everybody's out. These two teams one of these teams will be representing East Texas next week. So if you're not out here at the ballpark, you definitely need to be tuning in and listening to us. And we'll try to make it as entertaining as possible.
Oh, well,
what's our saying? Most entertaining sports broadcast in East Texas?
Yeah, and we are. I mean, self-proclaimed, but we are.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm funny.
That CM guy sometimes is kind of stale.
Yeah. I mean,
because he doesn't ever come on baseball. No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's crazy. We try to get him to baseball, but he doesn't. He just thinks he would sound weird, and I mean, he does when he's doing basketball too. So I don't know why he thinks baseball would be any different.
I don't know.
So
maybe he's listening. I hope he's listening.
I hope he's listening.
Maybe we'll draw him out on the chat if he's listening.
Yeah, you need to chat with us, buddy. Chat with us, man. We need to hear from you.
Another group, Kyle and Jeremy, been down in Austin this week.
Right.
We had Como Picton go down in the state final game, and Raines lost in the semifinals. But great season for both of those softball teams here in East Texas. NETsn, I believe, also lost in the semifinals, but had a nice little showing from East Texas this year.
Had great East Texas showing in the playoffs for baseball and softball this year. Mason Clark's going to lead things off for the Wildcats here in the bottom of the 5th as Bobo pitches the first pitch way outside for a ball. Yeah, we've had a lot of good baseball. For our first year to do baseball, this has been a fantastic season for us to do it. I have enjoyed every second of it. Here's a pitch. That's on the outside corner and called a strike. So now 1-1 is the count.
This is supposed to be my off season, but I feel like I've been doing this so a while.
Oh, yeah, it's been a long season. I'm not going to lie. We've done a lot of games. I haven't even counted how many games we've done.
It's been fun, though.
Oh, yeah, here's the pitch. That's going to catch the corner, and strike number 2.
And if you're interested in having us do some of your teams, if you're out there listening to this and you're in the Northeast Texas area, let us know. We'd love to get you guys in and stream some of your sporting events.
That's going to catch the outside corner, but no. It actually didn't. That was going to be a little bit too far.
And we don't just do baseball.
No, we don't. We do football. We do volleyball.
Volleyball's a new one.
Volleyball. Yeah. We're going to try to do that next year. See how that goes for us. Here's a pitch. That's going to be the same spot as the last one and the same result. And it's going to be a 3-2 count.
Basketball.
Basketball, yes. And then, of course, baseball again next year.
And softball.
And softball. So, yeah, this was our first year to do baseball and softball. Next year, we're hoping to advance a little bit, make it a little bit better. Good hit. And
right in the gap.
Right in the gap. That's going to go all the way to the wall. And Clark is going to round second.
He's going for 3. Oh, he falls. Oh, man.
And he was on his way to third. And he literally, the turf monster, grabbed his foot and would not let him go.
Oh, man.
No, he tripped over second base. He was making that turn.
He was moving, Keith.
And he was cruising. A great hit. That one went into the gap all the way. And is
that a courtesy runner?
A courtesy runner, number 12, Caleb Correa. Caleb Correa is going to come in.
Man.
But a wonderful hit. Ended up with a wonderfully tragic break there by the Wildcats.
It's one of those, if it was in slow motion, it could have been.
I wish we had replay.
Oh, no.
And I'm going to try to get that if we can at one point. That's going to be a high pitch for a ball there by Bobo.
Oh, man.
But that would have been funny to play back and show you guys.
His teammates are going to probably give him a hard time about that.
Oh, the fans, too. And he kind of played to the fans, did a great job, gracefully falling. My dad would have called that self-tackleization. A good pitch. A hit down first base. And Jace Bobo tried to catch it. It bounced off his glove, and that kept it fair. So Correa will move on to third base, and that puts runners at the corners. And once again,
as you can tell, the Harleton faithful are getting a little loud over here, Keith.
Yes, they are. And once again, the Wildcats are knocking at the door. As Braden Hopkins is going to step in. We got time.
Man, Runners at the corners and no outs. A great spot here for if you're Harleton.
Booth and Correa at first and third. Hopkins at home. And nobody out. Bobo fakes over to third and checks back at first. And in my opinion right now, he doesn't need to be worrying about runners. He needs to focus on the plate.
Well, we're kind of in a similar situation as the inning here when it was in the third inning. You want to limit your damage here.
Here's the pitch. That's going to be on the outside high corner, but in there for a strike, so no balls and one strike now to Hopkins. Yeah, in my opinion, you just don't focus on the runners right now. You got no outs. You have runners at the corners. You got momentum switching over to the Wildcats side. You need to focus at the plate, get these guys in front of you, and get your team back in the dugout and back in the batter's box.
As he continues to throw over to the plate, I don't know.
And maybe the coach sees something that I don't see and knows something that I don't know. But, you know, one errant throw over to first and you have a run in, and now you're 2 down instead of 1 going into the final innings. Here's a pitch. That's a good low ball there. And that's going to be ball 1. But yeah, you throw one pitch, one ball a little bit high, and it passes your first baseman over there, and you're in a little heap of trouble there. But I always play safe. Here's a pitch. That's a high fly ball over in third base territory. Bragg underneath gets the catch, and 1 down. So after the fly out, Tanner Tate, who has struck out and flown out, he'll step in. Runner still at the corners. Bobo throws back over to first. Keeps the runner there. That's going to be Booth. Correa still over at third. Not paying much attention to him, which is weird because he's the one closer to home. But there's method probably to madness. More than I know. Throw over to first again. And again, you know, I mean, I have nothing against probably something that's being seen that I don't know. I would just be scared to keep throwing over to first. You just miss one.
How many times are you going to go back and forth for it?
Yeah.
Of course, you have the brother connection there.
Yeah, you do. You have that option. There's the pitch in there for a strike. Good job by Bobo to put that in there.
Maybe you trust that.
And maybe, and you mentioned this earlier, and maybe it's a mind game for the batter. Maybe it's something against them. Maybe it's to throw them off their game. I would just be worried and not put my team in that position. But again, that's why I don't coach baseball.
That's why we're doing this and not coaching.
That's why we're doing this and not coaching.
We give
that's why they are in the regional finals.
Yeah.
And we're broadcasting the regional finals.
We just give our opinions. And
Bubba with the pitch. Good little breaking ball, but it's going to be a hit by pitch. And that'll load the bases.
Okay, Keith. I'm going to say it. How long do you leave him out there?
Well, and I haven't seen anybody over in the bullpen area.
No, and
not that ever really happens much.
I just wonder.
But it looks like somebody's moving. Well, nope.
At some point, you know, this is every run is key, especially the way Wallace has pitched tonight.
Well, and right now you have the opportunity. You have 1 out, and it's a force at any bag. So the coach has moved all the infielders into different positions here. You have your shortstop, your third baseman, your first baseman in. You have your second baseman back a little bit. Here's the pitch. That's going to be on the outside corner, but it's going to be a ball.
I mean, the double play is in play here. That would get them out of the inning.
That's why you have your second baseman back. You have your second baseman in double play depth there. And then you have your other ones in the infield for a opportunity to throw it home if it's a short little blooper into that area. That's going to be a ball as well. So you got 2-0. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to walk runners home.
No.
And give them easy runs.
We saw that in a couple weeks ago in the
Yes,
softball
we
game,
do.
a walk-off walk.
Yep, and we also saw it in a baseball game. We saw a walk-off walk as well.
Yeah.
I believe it was Bullard and Kilgore, I think we saw that in their first series. That's going to hit the outside corner. That's a strike.
Yeah, it was the 10-run walk-off, which is a little different than the –
right.
But it was a walk-off at the end of the game. So –
yeah, the one with the softball, I think that was Hawkins and Frankston.
It was. That was the end of the series.
That was the end of the series. Yeah, that one was a walk-off walk. That was
come from behind it.
Right. It was a one-run win. Last inning walk-off there. Here's a pitch. That's on the outside, ball 3, so 3-1 now the count. And the frustration is starting to mount. As you can see, Drew Bobo kind of get a little bit frustrated, so he needs to relax just a little bit because this is a big pitch here, and he can't throw the ball. Frustrated. So he looks in. Here's the pitch. That one's going to hit the inside, and no, that's a ball. So that'll bring a run home. And now the coach is going to head out, and I have a feeling we're going to have a pitching change here in the bottom of the 5th. And we'll see what happens here. And the crowd of Harleton is getting into it as well.
Yeah, you got a nice little student section over there behind their dugout.
Well, I mean, it's summertime for these kids. They don't have school tomorrow. So they can come out on a weeknight like this and have a good time and enjoy. Not that they wouldn't do it during school.
We haven't had too many of these like games under the lights this year, if you think about it.
Right.
I don't know that, since the days have gotten longer, a lot of these games have ended before it's kind of gotten dark. It's really nice. I get the nice glow of the computer, the mixer here. You're not having to like squint in to see anything.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I don't believe. Nope. They're going to keep Bobo out there. So I think the coach is just trying to settle him down. He did he did show frustration there.
Yeah, I think he thought that last pitch was a strike.
Right. And I think he's just trying to tell him, hey, let me deal with the umpire. You just deal with the pitches. Now Cameron Johnson steps in. Bases loaded still. 1 out. 1 run already in. Here's the pitch. Good pitch down the middle. That's going to be a hit out into right center field. It's going to be shallow, though. And Robinson has it. It's going to be a play at the plate. And
he's out.
He is out.
Oh, what a play, Keith.
Colton Carnes
does
a fantastic job. So does Gavin Robinson. It was a shallow hit. And Robinson played it perfectly.
My goodness.
And Carnes did a good job. He stayed in front of the home plate. He caught the ball, made the tag, protected home plate, but he didn't do it in such a way to cause an interference call.
Yeah.
Great job.
Because he was on the right side of home plate here from our view, and caught the ball and had his left foot kind of over, so he was able to just kind of pivot over and make the tag. That's a huge play. That's another one of those big plays.
That is, and you talked about it earlier in the game. Big plays, big moments, and once again, Douglas comes away and ends an inning on a huge play and only keeps 1 run on the board. Now they're 2 behind, but 2 is not an insurmountable amount to come back on.
That's a steal of a couple of runs away from Harleton.
And if you want to talk about it, that's a momentum stealer. It kind of deflates you a little bit. You had a great inning with Harleton getting bases loaded. You walked in a guy. The Harleton fans were up. The Harleton team was good. They were jumping. And then all of a sudden, you get thrown out. You get an out there on a fly ball, which you thought automatic sacrifice fly. Then you get thrown out at home plate. And that deflates your balloon really quick.
Well, here's the problem we got, Keith. They've got to hit the ball at some point.
Right.
If they can't get a hit on Wallace, it's going to be tough to win this game. So at some point.
But you also have to look at, and you're right, you are correct. However, I wish I knew, I should have been keeping it. You got to look at a pitch count situation here.
Yeah.
He has struck out 12 batters in this inning, but he's also walked 4 or 3.
Yeah. You know,
So
that's
in
something
that
we need next year. We need a
I need
pitch
to have
count
a pitch count situation
thing on the screen.
But he only has 110 pitches that he can be. I believe 110 or 115.
It's 110.
Yeah.
They have to, once they cross that, they can complete the batter.
Correct.
And that's it. So I don't know. That's how many pitches is that per inning? Let's calculate that up.
So right now it looks like Riley Kaufman is going to take the first pitch. That's going to be fouled off for a strike.
It's somewhere around between 15 and 20 pitches per inning. Just ballparking it there.
Right.
Ooh,
There's
that curve again, Keith.
Right.
My goodness. It just like drops and turns out of nowhere. And I've seen some good breaking pitches during this postseason coverage, and
right.
I think by far his is the nastiest I've seen.
Oh yeah.
So,
well, that's going to be fouled back. Just out of his strikeouts and his walks, just those, considering it was the minimum amount of pitches, just 4 pitches for the walks, 3 pitches for the strikes, he's got 45 pitches just out of those batters.
Yeah.
That's just the minimum.
Yeah.
So you got to start looking at whatever that might be. There's a good curveball, but no.
It was close. Just
that was a beautiful pitch, but not a strike, says the umpire.
Just a little bit outside. I think it didn't quite break enough.
So, granted, we are in the 6th inning. So there's only really, possibly, this could be his last inning.
Yeah.
No, correction. Next inning, he only has 2 more innings.
He only has
to
2
pitch.
innings, yeah.
Correct. Here's the time called. Riley Kaufman called the time right before the pitch, so the umpire granted it. But I'm with you. I bet they're just going to, that's going to be a walk. I bet they're just going to run him all the way ragged, so to speak. Run its course as best they can.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I don't know if they've got, we talked about the pitching. They've got 2 other pitchers that have had significant seasons as well. I'm not sure. I know one of them will probably be starting tomorrow, I would imagine. And then the other one, if they have a closer, I don't know if one of those guys closes or if they have 3 starters.
Right.
So, you don't want to have to dig in just in case you need a 3rd starter. So
that's a hit out into right field. That's going to be back a little bit for Johnson. Johnson with the catch, and out number 1. And we do know, keeping on the pitch count talk, we do know that he's had at least 3 or 4 batters that he's gone full counts on.
Yeah.
That they've also fouled off a few. I mean, it's just, so he's up there. I think he's close to probably around 89, 90 pitches right about now, roughly.
Yeah. But that batter, he seemed to not, he'd have to waste too many on it. So.
Yeah. So Gavin Robinson is stepping in after the fly out. 1 on and 1 out. And the Indians trying to get something going. And that's going to be high. And a good throw by Clark. But a good job by Kaufman to get back.
It's confidence in that catcher and first base combination.
A good pitch right down the pipe there for strike 1, 1-1 to count.
You just don't really see the throw down to first like that a whole lot.
No, and these guys, I've seen it a lot in the playoffs with the kind of pitch out, and they do that a lot in college and playoffs.
Oh!
And that was a hit right back, and that's an errant throw by the second baseman.
Wow.
Tanner Tate. That bounced off of Wallace. It was a hit right back at the pitcher. The ball bounced off Wallace, went straight to Tanner Tate. Tate threw it to first, and it went past the first baseman. So that is going to be an error.
Yeah, we'll see if they put it on the board.
And they don't. They put it as a base hit.
That's no way.
Yep, they put that as a base hit, but it's an error. And maybe they put it as a base hit. Nope, they took it off.
Yeah, E1. Yeah, that's an error.
Yep, they got an error on that. That was an error.
Yeah.
But now you got runners at the corners for Douglas.
Thankfully, Wallace is okay. That was a shot.
And you know what that error does, Brett?
That keeps the no-hitter in place.
That keeps the no-hitter in place. And yes, luckily Wallace that was a shot. I think it hit him in the glove, maybe the hand.
Yeah, he blocked it with that right hand or right glove hand. And then the throw over there was just completely rushed and thrown. It still could have got the runner.
Right.
And just wasn't even close to being on accurate.
Jace Bobo watches the first pitch go as a ball.
A little helicopter action in play, Keith.
Oh yeah, coming over. It's still funny. These high schoolers just watching the helicopter go by. 1 ball and no strike. We were too. I'm not gonna lie.
It seemed awful close.
I'm old and watching that go by. That's in there for a strike. So it's 1-1.
Just making sure it wasn't a drone or something. You know?
Right.
Those things are pretty big now. Wish we could do that for our coverage. It'd be cool if it was legal.
That would be kind of neat.
Have that over-the-head shot.
Right. Wallace looks over at first, brings the pitch.
Oh,
and that's going to be a good little bumper right over to third. Third baseman misses it.
Another error.
And that was just a hard one. That's going to be a base hit. And a run comes in. And Douglas is on the board.
Yep. We'll see how they score it here.
It's going to be a base hit. If they do it right, it'll be a base hit.
A tough play.
Was a tough play. We'll see how they roll it and see if the no-hitter stays. But either way, it's going to be a run across.
Nope, they gave him the hit. Good call, Keith.
So a base hit goes for Jace Bobo and ends the no-hitter and ends the goose egg for the Indians. And we got ourselves another big situation in the ballgame here as Luke Niver comes in. Only 1 out for the Indians. Runner in scoring position and a runner at first. Pardon me. So a little situation by the coach to try to figure out what to do in this situation.
I mean, at this point, you got to ride your horse, I would think.
Well, yeah, you don't want to try anything different. That's going to be a pass ball. And the runners are going to go safe at second, safe at third. So the ball bounces off of Clark, and that hasn't happened a lot this game. In fact, it's happened very rare.
Yeah.
But the runners do advance. So now you have a bigger position here where you have 2 runners in scoring position. So your game changes plans a little bit.
A base hit probably scores the go-ahead run here, Keith, in a spot where it gets past the infield.
So now what do you tell your batter? Do you tell him to just swing away? It's going to be high on the outside. And now Wallace is probably a little flustered, considering the fact that he's gone from a no-hitter to having 2 runner from on second and third. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed, and that's a strikeout. Now he got 2 outs.
That was a big strikeout there for
a big one. Colton
Wallace.
Carnes is going to come in. And a big at-bat for Colton Carnes and the Indians, because you want to get away with this for a tie at least. And a big pitch session here coming for Carson Wallace to get out of this with only 1 run coming across.
And how many chances are you going to get here with Wallace? So you got to take advantage of every one of them.
And that was a good pitch, but called the ball by the umpire. So 1-0 is the count.
I would say it was a little high if they're going to call something maybe.
That was about neck high, so you're right. That's a pitch way into short center field. It's a high fly ball. And so Schertz gets it and saves the run from coming in. So only 1 run's come across, but the Indians are now on the board. And this ball game just got a little bit more interesting now.
It was already interesting, but now it just got that much more interesting.
Because now we're heading to the bottom of the 6th, and time is just running shorter and shorter. And so we're going to see what happens with Bobo coming out. He's got a new little lease on life here. because his boys got on the board. He and his teammates got on the board. So it's not lost, so to speak. You went from 2 runs down to 1 run down again. The end is in sight, so you have a little bit of pressure. Your back's not up against the wall totally, but it kind of is. So
yeah, it needs to come out of here with a clean inning to keep his team in it. Like we said earlier, they were able to dent in there and score 1 on Wallace, but it's been few and far between the opportunities tonight. So,
right. So you got to come into this and think, okay, you have potentially the Wildcats coming into the last 6 outs. You only have 1 at bat left.
Yep.
So if you are the Indians, especially
and you're
if
behind.
you are Drew Bobo, you're behind, yeah. So you've got to come in this, you've got to sit these people down. 3 up, 3 down is what you want. No runs come into this one because you have to get your team back riding this high that they just had and get them back with the bats in their hands as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Because you want them to get and keep this momentum
well,
going.
We talked earlier about the pitch count, Keith. You know, that could come into effect. We don't know where that sits.
You never know.
For Wallace, and so if you
also don't know where it sits with Bobo.
Yeah, that's true. And he's got 2 innings possibly to throw. You know, if they were to get ahead or tie it, you know, Harleton would have the last at bat tonight.
But you have the Indians that possibly have 3 outs left with the Wildcats who possibly, again, have 6 or 3 outs left themselves. Interesting situation here, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen here.
I'm glad we're here. I hope you're tuning in. You're missing out if you're not.
Then the first pitch and the first hit. And Kaufman, and he has just struggled all night long. So Dylan Armstrong leads things off and gets a base hit for the Wildcats off an error. And now Gage Schertz is going to step in. And Bobo from the stretch throws over to first and not in time. And throws again. Doesn't even come to the stretch on that. Trying to catch Armstrong. Kind of playing a little cat and mouse game there over at first. Now Bobo set. Here's the pitch. Bunt. And caught by Bobo over to first. Almost a double play.
Oh.
But Bobo does a good job of bouncing off the mound, catching the bunt, and throwing over to first to get Gage Schertz and get that first out. But the lead runner, Armstrong, makes it to second. Almost gets caught as he rounds second to go to third and has to get back to first extremely fast, or excuse me, has to get back to second extremely fast. Because Jace Bobo launches it back over to second.
Yeah, that was a great job by Drew Bobo to get off the mound, and you got to field your position. He did that.
He did a very good job. So 1 down, but a runner in scoring position now for the Wildcats. That's going to be inside, and it's passed ball by Carnes, and Armstrong now 90 feet away.
Yeah, so you're looking at, you know, they just got that run back as Douglas did, and now Harleton is, you know, knocking on the doorsteps of getting their 2-run lead back right away. We talked about how important this inning was for Bobo, and it's kind of off to a little bit of a rocky start here.
And you got Carson Wallace, who has done a great job. He had a base hit back in the third, so he's got wheels. That's going to be low for a ball.
That's a strike.
Oh, that was a strike. I apologize. That is a strike, so that makes it 1-1.
Half the people here didn't like it.
Right. I had looked up at the scoreboard, and I wasn't quite sure what was going on there. I had a little coughing fit earlier. So here is Bobo from the stretch. Here's the pitch. That's going to be hit down the right field line, and it's foul. And looked like it hit.
It was close. It was close.
It looked like it hit fair. However, it did not. Much to the dismay of all the fans to our right.
The ones in green.
Much to the delight of all the fans to our left.
Yeah.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And Carson Wallace steps in. And Wallace kind of has the fate in his hands right here, as a base hit would extend the lead to 2 again. And that's going to be a pass ball again.
Oh, it's going to come home.
Armstrong home. And no! As the throw back from Carnes to Bobo was a little high, and he couldn't get the tag down in time. So the run does score.
Bobo's got to calm down a little bit here, Keith.
Yeah, he just slammed the ball down in frustration. And I can understand the frustration, but he's still got a game to play.
He's got to forget about that.
So he's got to step back in. Here's the pitch, and obviously the frustration is showing. And he's pitched a great game, and I can understand, but he needs to calm down a little bit. He's done a great job so far. Good pitch there.
Oh.
Yes, we dodged it.
Oh.
Came straight back.
Straight back. It's the first one that's coming really straight back at us.
Right. So full count to Wallace. 1 out. 3-1 your score here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the windup in the pitch. That's going to be inside corner, but no call. And Wallace is going to take his place at first base. Mason Clark is going to step up. We got a courtesy runner coming in for Wallace, and it's going to be number 20, Caden Skaggs. Skaggs actually scored, I believe, back in the 3rd. Let me look. Yep. Skaggs scored back in the 3rd. He got the first run of the game as a courtesy runner for Wallace. Here's the pitch. That's going to be on the outside corner, but no call. So there's ball 1. Mason Clark got a double his last time up, so he's been hit by pitch, fouled out. Excuse me, flew out in the 3rd and made a double back in the 5th. So Bobo looks in and gets the sign from Carnes, goes to the stretch, checks the runner at first, and brings the pitch home. Swung on and missed by Clark.
Good pitch.
And now the count's 1-1. So the game that was flying by earlier has now hit a little bit of a stall, but good game nonetheless. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Runner goes, and it's a little bit of a drop ball there. A nice curve ball, but Colton Carnes couldn't hold on to it. And Skaggs steals second with ease. And once again, the Wildcats have a runner in scoring position.
Yo, Bobo here.
And here's the pitch, high and outside. That was a little force there.
It seems like he's maybe throwing a little bit extra, trying to throw it harder here, Keith. I don't know if you've noticed that his last few pitches. And I don't know if that's just, you know, he's got a little frustration from
the
play
technique
before.
that he's had most of the game is kind of not there. Now there it was. There was that technique. And that was on the outside corner, and that was a strike.
Well,
and yeah.
Clark got halfway to the first. He thought he was getting a free pass, and
well, on the pitch before that, he didn't have technique. His kick was off.
That was better.
That one was the Bobo that I have watched the first 4 or 5 innings.
Yeah.
And that's why it was a strike. he did a good job. And there it is again. And that was right down the middle. Good hit. And Kaufman again struggles, but finally gets a hold of it and throws on to Jace Bobo over at first and gets out number 2. However, Skaggs moves over to third. But there are 2 outs.
Just get the batter here.
Yep.
Still only a 2-run game. You still have 3 more outs in this last inning. You still have a chance. So I think this 1 run right here is huge.
Sean Booth at the plate.
2 runs, Keith, I think
it's doable. Yeah.
3 just makes it a lot harder.
Right.
Not that that's insurmountable. We've seen bigger comebacks, but it just every run, especially when you look over there at the pitching of Harleton tonight, it just looks difficult.
And Bobo finally getting back to the pitcher we know he is finally pitching good as he puts that one on the outside corner for strike 1. Nope, that one's high. But the run's coming, and in there, safe. So that one actually got away. That one got away from Bobo, and the Carnes just couldn't get up fast enough to get it. And that puts the score now at 4-1.
Well, those are errors, Keith. And you've seen 2 of them this inning. 2 of them this inning.
Right.
The runners scored on balls that got past the catcher. Whether or not it's the catcher or the pitcher, it got past them, and it's allowed 2 extra runs here, and kind of a little padding going into the 7th inning for Harleton.
Yeah. And that pitch was in there for a strike. Here's the windup and the pitch by Bobo. That's going to be outside. And I don't know, Bret, if he's trying to throw like a breaking ball there and he just lost his zip on that, and that's why they're kind of flying out to the outside.
I mean, he's missing. It's missing by about 2 or 3 feet.
Yeah. Here's the windup in the pitch. That's right down the middle. That's a foul back for a strike.
It's a good pitch there.
Yeah. But I'm just trying to see. I'm watching him there, and I just don't know if it's just something that he's trying to. And I haven't seen him throw a breaking ball in an inning or so, and I'm just wondering if he's trying and he just hasn't gotten it. That's going to be down and away. They're appealing over to first, but I don't think he swung.
I don't think he did either. And the reason I don't know that it's a breaking ball, because it almost to me appears, and I'm no baseball expert by any means, but like he's trying to overthrow it. Like
right.
Throw it get that extra speed.
Yeah.
And it's just losing control of it.
Here's the pitch. Good pitch. That's to Coffin. Great job by Coffin. Over to first. And the 6-3 putout ends the inning. But the damage could be done. And 2 runs come across to make a 3-run lead. 4-1 is your score. So, Bret, it comes down to this as we go to the top of the 7th. And the potential Indians just have 3 outs left, possibly, barring a great inning, which they have the ability to do, and we've seen that happen.
And we got it's like the bottom of the order coming up.
At the bottom of the order, but
so they're going to need a bottom of the order rally here against Wallace.
And Wallace still on the mound.
You've got Carnes up. He's walking, struck out. You got both Carnes up.
Right.
Both have struck out and walked each. And then you've got Standrich, who's been hit by a pitch and struck out. So they've all got on once and struck out once. So it's going to be interesting to see which Wallace we see coming out of the 7th inning. We've seen a couple different versions of him tonight.
Yeah.
We've seen the first couple innings of Wallace, and then he was maybe another inning later, he was that dominant strikeout machine. And then we've seen him where he's lost control, where he's hit some batters and he's walked some guys. The only one, he had the one error and then the kind of the hit, but either one of those were hit very hard, the ones that got on base. So no one's really been able to get a real tattooed hit on him.
Right.
And
we're going to find out.
If Douglas can't do that, I don't know that they're going to be able to win this game. I just don't. Even if he walks a few, somebody, I don't know who it is, somebody's got to wake up on Douglas and get a bat on Wallace's pitch and get it to the outfield. I think they do that, then they've got a chance. If they can't get a hit on it, I just don't see Wallace walking a bunch of runners in at this point. I think they've got to get the bat on the ball.
Well, Colton Carnes is going to lead things off here in the top of the 7th. That's going to be in the outside corner, says the umpire. And correction, that's going to be Garrett Carnes leading things off, I believe. Yep, Garrett Carnes. So we're in the bottom 2. That's going to be hit over to the shortstop side. Booth has it. Booth over with the 6-3 put out.
There's one.
And one down. So quickly, the Indians are down to their final 2, possibly.
So that means
Case and Standridge.
So that means we'll have Drew Bobo in the third at bat. This inning.
Drew Bobo is on deck as Standridge steps in.
Oh,
and a hit by pitch.
Man.
And that's his second hit by pitch for
He's got a magnet on him, Keith.
Well, he's hit by pitch, been struck out, and then hit again. So they're going to check him out.
Again, we talked about it. He's left-handed. When Wallace has struggled, it's gone out to that left side. So I don't know what they're doing.
They're going to have the pinch runner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's going to be number 10 there, Keith.
Yep, Dylan Johnson is going to be a pinch runner.
But that's where he struggled. And obviously that's why he's got hit twice.
Right.
He just happened to the middle one where he struck him out. It was 3 straight strikes. He was on that one, but the other 2 at bats, Wallace struggled and just drilled Standridge. He's going to be sore tomorrow.
So Drew Bobo takes the first pitch for a ball down low with a runner on first.
And he's got a chance here, Keith, to help himself.
Yeah.
He struggled that last inning. It was a rough inning. A big hit here can make a big difference here.
That's going to be on the outside corner for strike 1. And Bobo is just still frustrated, pounding the bat down on the ground.
He's got to
take that frustration down on that baseball, though.
Yeah, he couldn't. That's where you need to do it.
That's going to be down low and inside for a ball. That's where you take it. Swing that bat, knock that ball, see what he can do.
Yeah, make those outfielders do something.
Yeah.
We hadn't had much action out there.
That's going to be low, but the umpire calls that a strike.
Man.
And that looked low to me, but Mr. Umpire called it a strike, so it's going to be 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wallace with the pitch. That's going to be hit straight up the middle. But once again,
double play.
Booth is there.
And that's it.
Double play is there, and that's the ball game. As a 6-3 double play.
6-3.
Because Booth took it himself. And that's the ball game, ladies and gentlemen, as the Harleton Wildcats take game 1 of the series 4-1 over the Douglas Indians. But
what a way to end it.
That was
a one-hit gem by Wallace, Keith.
Right.
I mean, and the one hit was probably the weakest looking hit. I mean, it just happened to be in the right spot. A tough play, but man, shout out to him. He pitched an incredible game. How many strikeouts did he finish with? Was it
I believe he finished
11 or 12?
With, I think it was around 11. I think 11 strikeouts is what. Yes, 11 strikeouts is what he finished with.
All right, so that's going to move Wallace to 12-0 in the season. And looking at tomorrow's matchup, from the previous round, Jace Bobo was actually their best pitcher. So I wonder, we see Jace tomorrow possibly in round 2. We're just guessing here, and we've got possibly either Armstrong or Hopkins for Harleton. Neither one of them have lost either, Keith. I mean, they've been so good this year.
Yeah.
So, we talked about Wallace being their ace. They threw that out. They got the 1-game lead like they wanted to.
Yeah.
So now, if Jace Bobo is possibly the best pitcher of Douglas, which he had the best stats from last series, he's got to come out tomorrow and answer.
Oh, yeah, and and Douglas in general has to come out and play.
Yep.
Their bats can't start in the 5th inning.
Yep.
They've got to start in the first one or three. They can't wait.
No,
because not against this team. Not this late in the season.
And you're not gonna win just getting walks and hit by pitches.
Right.
You've got to get some hits.
They're swinging the bats, but they're not. The timing is off. And yes, Wallace is a great pitcher. You had a little struggle there, but this late in the season, that shouldn't be an issue. You should be able to catch up, and maybe it was just an off night. You had Kaufman made those errors. He had at least, in my count, at least 4 errors on the night. He bobbled some balls. He missed some easy steps. That cost some steps. That cost some bases for some runners that put him in scoring position.
So let's look at the keys I said before that. I said it was a key to Wallace to pitch a gym.
Right.
He did so.
Yep.
Okay, we talked about the big plays.
Had some big plays.
There were some big plays. The play out in left field, it was
Luke Knive.
Luke Knive,
Yep.
correct. Big play.
Yep.
We had some pass balls and errors that were big here at the end. A couple of those go the other way.
Yeah.
Those type of things make the difference between Harleton taking the win and Douglas taking the loss tonight. So those things flip the other direction, and we could be talking the total opposite.
Yes.
So I look for tomorrow to be just as entertaining, just as great a game. And hey, we may have 2 more games tomorrow.
You're right. And you can't look at the score. I mean, you look at the 4-1, you think, oh, well, Harleton took away. No. Douglas played a fantastic baseball game up until a certain point. It was just I don't want to call it a comedy of errors. It was just a collection of errors.
You can only get away with those errors so long, and they're going to come back and bite you.
It's going to stack up. That's what those 4 runs were from.
Yeah.
The 4 runs wasn't from a domination by any means. Not to take away from Harleton's win. They played hard, but they had a pitcher that dominated as well.
Yeah.
But Douglas kept it until the last inning.
They did what they needed to do to stay in the game, and it finally, we talked about it early. Wallace dominated the first couple innings.
Oh, yeah.
Bobo got in some jams, was able to get out of them.
Yep.
But eventually what's going to happen, if you get in enough jams, then the mistakes, the errors, the big plays by Harleton are going to eventually come back and get you. And Harleton had more chances to score.
Yeah.
And so eventually they were able to.
You add up enough coins, you're going to end up having dollars.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to keep – you can't keep loading the bases and having runners in scoring position every single inning and expect your team just to get out of it. I mean, yeah, you can – maybe you get lucky into it, but the odds are against you.
Yeah.
And Harleton had more innings that were cleaner sheets pitched by Wallace than Bobo did. And that's not to say that Bobo pitched bad, but he allowed – more hits, more runners, and Wallace didn't, and that was the key overall, base runners.
But it was a great game either way you push it, and it's exciting because we get to come back tomorrow.
We sure do.
And so do you.
Yeah.
If you're listening, if you're watching.
And we'll have the link posted. Yeah, we'll follow us on Twitter, NETsn_live. We'll have both links go up probably either tonight or first thing in the morning. I'm going to try to do it tonight when I get home. But we'll have links for the video feed and also our audio feed. So the audio feed is free on our YouTube channel. And if you're listening tonight and you're on the video feed, do us a favor. Go over and like our radio feed. Subscribe to our channel. It helps us out. We don't charge anyone of any of the schools that we covered throughout the year for any of the coverage. All we do is we ask you to like and subscribe. Helps us build our channel in our viewer base. And also helps us, our videos get seen more. It helps us out in general. So we do this because we love doing this for the kids and all this Northeast Texas area. This is our last series, so tomorrow will be it.
After tomorrow, win, lose, or draw.
we'll have the off season. We'll be back strong for some football coverage.
Yep.
But if you like and subscribe and you know what's going on, you will never miss any of our action. We've got some big things coming in the off season too that we haven't announced yet, but stay tuned.
And you can only know about it if you like and subscribe.
Yeah, yep, you sure will.
And we want you to do that.
And we hope everybody enjoyed tonight's broadcast. And we'll be back tomorrow for 1, maybe 2 more here at Mike Carter again.
And we want you to join us. Hey, So, for Brett Sweeney, I'm Keith Whitman. We're going to be out of here tonight. Pack up everything and go home. We hope to see you tomorrow. Y'all have a good night.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.